So, guys, like Dalveji was just mentioning that he did this amazing work on the Sikh shrines in Pakistan. I requested him to please come. Like last week, we were having a discussion on the Hindus and Sikhs of Afghanistan. Today, we are talking about Pakistan. Coming weeks, we'll pick up some other neighboring countries. We'll talk to experts. Today, what I wanted to actually, I met Dalveji online. It has been, I think, 1 or 2 years. I don't even remember how long. But I've been looking at his post, and then I recently met him in Punjab at one of the festivals in Sangrur. Uh, I have heard him speak. I have read chapters from his book, so I know the kind of work that he has done. Now, I really wanted to share him. I wanted him to share his views with you all, and I wanted you all to know what kind of hardships he had to go through, then what kind of experiences he had, and also about what he saw. And very recently, Dalveji also had put a video of Gurdwara, which is now industrial unit right outside the fort. We'll come to that, but things like that. So why don't we start about talk about the book? Just give us a little overview, and then we can take it forward.
Sure. So thank you so much, first of all. Really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. It's actually just a passion. I'm not a academic historian. I'm not anyone into the colleges or universities. I'm a dentist, as I said before. So if I say anything, that is not correct, please send me an email. I look forward to your suggestions so that I can improve my work. Regarding the book, book is divided basically into 6 districts. I have total in Pakistan, I have covered around 270 buildings. That is my total project in Pakistan since 2008. When I say 270 buildings, that includes gurdwaras, forts, havelis, schools, universities, anything which has connection with the Sikh heritage. Now, when the time was there to put it into a book, I found that all cannot be adjusted into a book. So I kind of consulted many historians, many librarians, especially the US historians, how to catalog the entire Sikh heritage in Pakistan in a proper professional way. They advised the book to be formatted according to Chicago style of manual. That is the standard way for the history books. And that's how even the maps and all, we have been moving from one end of Pakistan to other. And within the district, we are keeping it chronological. So each district, we will first have the most ancient place and then to the last one, and that's how I'm moving forward. So in this first volume which we have released, I'm able to include only 84 buildings. Most of them are gurdwaras because they are chronologically coming up on the top. So this is the first one. When will I do second volume? I personally don't know. If I after this hard work of publishing and all, I don't know like when and if I'll do that. I'm doing it all standalone. So that's where I'm at this point.
You have to do that. I mean, 84 out of 270. You've already got our hopes up. Yeah. So, how much time did it take to reach this stage?
It took around 11, 12 years. It started in 2008. I wrote it a few times. At first, I wrote it more like a travelogue style, but then I figured out that my key audience was the professors, the teachers in Pakistan. What they were telling me that, okay, look, we have these buildings, we walk next to them all the time. इनसे तो हम रोज पास से गुजरते हैं, हमें इनके पीछे वो चीजें बताओ जो इंटरनेट से नहीं मिलती हैं. They were dying to get more information citations from the ancient texts so that their students can do higher studies. And most of that work is available in Farsi, Urdu, or Gurmukhi. So I started this daunting task of connecting each building in Pakistan with primary sources, whatever are available from the original book, going back to the libraries and to the ancient scriptures, and then translating them for the first time, most of the part, into English to make it convenient for the people living in Pakistan, so that in each district, in each tehsil, we can give them a job. Hey, look, this is the place of Sikh heritage in your tehsil, in your jala, in your council. If you want to do something, you don't have to go to Kartarpur Sahib or Lahore or Nankana Sahib only. I'm giving you this building right there, and this is everything translated in English. You start doing some higher study on this. Once you reach certain point, then we know that you are working with us, and then we will start supporting each other. So I did this for the last 4 years. I have been just writing part. My photography first took 5-6 years. I started it before the internet started. I used to give ads in the newspapers in Pakistan, hiring photographers all different places. And that was before social media. The things were quite hard because people will send me the picture. I don't even know if that is the right Gurdwara or not. And I used to pay per building. And then when 2014, 15, the internet picked up, I found out the things were not matching because everybody started posting pictures from Pakistan. Everybody had a cell phone now. And then I had to get a lot of work redone just to make it certain. And then there are very few books which were written on this topic. And unfortunately, they were also just copying each other. So a lot of the information was incorrect. So I had to revise a lot of the text from some other books.
I can relate to that pain because I also started in 2008, 2009. And I know how much, what feeling we have when we don't find any primary source and then we have to look for the kind of information. So anyways, what do you think is the current state of all these shrines in Pakistan right now?
Okay, there are very few shrines which are functional. And I think that is because there is not enough Sikh Sangat. So I personally, this is my personal opinion, I might be wrong. I personally don't think a lot of money should be spent on putting into Gurdwaras in Pakistan, putting marble and huge lavish Gurdwara buildings. That's not what my approach or my team's approach or my advisors' approach have been. We are trying to make something that is mutually beneficial for the local people, find out the good historical spot which is connected, rich in Sikh history, and then talk to the locals, their teachers, professors, academic people, so that we can do something that building can be utilized in something nice way, that when the Sikh tourist goes, they feel it's good. Some of them are schools, universities. They have done an amazing job in preserving all the plaques, and they're amazing. There is no religious intolerance. They have preserved all the khandas, ekunkar, everything is like, they can't even read it. They say Hindi mein likha hua. Actually, it's in Punjabi, but they have still preserved it. They don't paint over it. They maintain it. But there are a lot of other ones, beautiful ones. They have cows, buffaloes, cow dung. And when we go, it kind of hurts us, but we can't say them right away, hey, this is something holy for us. So it's a slow process. You go there, you tell, hey, I'll be again back next year. Iske upar hamare frescoes hain, ye artwork hai, isko touch nahi karna. I'll just make little nice relation with them. Unke bachon ki shaadi pe kuch send them something like, just develop family relations. That's what I've been doing with almost every place in Pakistan. I really can say at least 100 to mujhe yaad ho gaye ki kis gurdware ka caretaker kaun hai, usse kis tarah ka mera relation hai, uske kiske main through gaya hu. We need to put something in a family relation with them. And I tell them, my intention is not to pick you out or to build a lavish Gurdwara there. That's not I'm for. I am a dentist. My job is कि कुछ निशानी बची रह जाए. जब तक इंडिया पाकिस्तान के हाथ और नहीं सुधरते, तुम्हारा काम है कि ये ऊपर हमारी जो गुरुज की जो तस्वीरें बनी हुई हैं, जो भी बना हुआ है, तुम इसको मेंटेन रखो. इसके ऊपर आपने पेंट नहीं मारना. जो संदूक है उसको थोड़ा आगे करके रखो. थोड़ा संदूक को टच नहीं होने दो कि उससे पेंट उतर रहा है. और अगले साल मैं फिर आऊंगा और हमारी दोस्ती इसी तरह से बढ़ती रहेगी as long as तुम हमारे साथ. So that's how I've been doing, and so far that it's very successful. I love them like anything. रोज में 3-4 दोस्त पाकिस्तान से जब मैं बात नहीं कर लेता पिछले कई सालों से, I can't go to bed.
This is really beautiful, and I think slightly off topic, not too much, but I've been told by so many people that when you go to Pakistan, that's the kind of love they shower at you. Because sitting in India, the kind of news that we hear is all about hate, and deliberately the media teaches us how to hate Pakistan, and we always have to hate Pakistan. But people who have been there, when they come back, they tell a completely different story. What's your experience?
Yeah, we have to be very careful with this. First of all, it's not the media that's telling us. It's whatever people like to listen. The media says it so that their viewership increase. If media starts saying everything good about Pakistan, people change the channel. They go to the one. So media is catering to whatever the public perception is. Now, before this, my latest visit.
जितने भी nuts जो बाहर हो ना, उसको फ्रिज में रखो.
किसी का mic on है? Please turn your microphones off.
I'm muted.
कोई अकेले nuts खा रहा है हमें खिलाए बिना.
हमें नहीं मिलते.
फ्रिज में रख दिया, हमारे लिए भी चाहिए nuts. चलो, anyways, let's talk about India, Pakistan here a little bit. So this was my first visit in Pakistan. When I saw no propaganda against India or something. I have been going there for a long time. There were always some elements there जहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ politics चलती थी. But in this recent Imran Khan's time, or I would say last 2 years, I don't want to name political parties in Pakistan, but things have changed in Pakistan in the last 2 years. They are making sure कि जो इंडिया गवर्नमेंट, इंडिया के लोग हैं, उनको ये नहीं लगे कि पाकिस्तान में जाने पर उनको उकसाया जा रहा है, and they have worked really hard on it. It's not easy for them. I see it because I was going there earlier too. You know, बहुत बच के निकलना पड़ता था मुझे भी, you know, but now it is not like that. So I think Pakistan government, अब ये कोरोना का चक्कर मुझे मालूम नहीं है, they should have, you know, there is a question about Katas Raj. I can talk a lot about that. Rajeshwar ji, I have been, मेरे काम में सारे हिंदू टेम्पल्स जो हैं वो भी मैंने कवर किए हुए हैं, बट मैंने पब्लिश नहीं किया है. But I will come to that point also. Hindu temples and Sikh heritage, I'll include that topic just after answering this India Pakistan. So मेरा point है कि जो hate करने वाले जो दो लोग हैं, वो तो काम चलता रहेगा. You know, आज भी बहुत से लोग, जब कोई इंडिया पाकिस्तान का चक्कर होता है, इवन जो हमारी टीम है पाकिस्तान में, बहुत 40 दोस्त हैं मेरे काम कर रहे हैं, मैं उनको दोस्त ही बोलता हूँ. Majority of them I have paid at some time, but there are 4 or 5 who don't even take a penny from me. So जो सारी टीम है, जिस दिन भी कुछ ना कुछ इंडिया पाकिस्तान की गड़बड़ होती है, हम क्या करते हैं, हम 1-2 महीने हम एक दूसरे बोलते हैं हमने इस टॉपिक के सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट को डालनी ही नहीं. सो वी जस्ट गो बाय दैट टाइम, और उसके 1 महीने बाद फिर ठीक हो जाता है. मतलब लोग अननेसेसरी एक दूसरे से लड़ने का फायदा ही कोई नहीं है. दीज आर बिग पावर्स, बिग पीपल हु मेक दीज डिसीजंस. आम लोग जितना प्यार बढ़ा लें, जितना मोहब्बत का स्नेहा लेके आ जाएं, आई थिंक that's all we want to do. What I think upsets many people in India is, जब हम कभी, let's say मैं USA में रहता हूँ, if I go to Pakistan, if I come back and I start saying negative about India, then people get upset. So we have to be very careful. हम इंडिया पाकिस्तान दोनों लोगों को थोड़ा बैलेंस करके रखें, ताकि we become like a peace messengers. If we like Pakistan, that does not have to mean that we hate India, and vice versa.
Right.
मतलब ये जरूरी नहीं, हम दोनों को ही कर सकते हैं. और हम एक्चुअली ये हम कर क्यों रहे हैं, हम इंडिया पाकिस्तान दोनों के लोगों के लिए तो कर रहे हैं ना. हम तो अदरवाइज कैलिफोर्निया में बैठे हैं, you know. हमें तो क्या करना है. Then I'll just answer Jeshwar's question.
जी.
जितने भी जब मैं फोटोग्राफी करवाता हूँ, तो गांव में मंदिर भी होता है, हमेशा गुरुद्वारा साथ में होते हैं. And the photographers cannot tell me कि ये गुरुद्वारा है, मंदिर है, because they still don't know much difference between Hinduism and Sikhism, which is good in a way, क्योंकि पहले जमाने में ऐसा ही था. जो पुरानी बिल्डिंग्स थी वो बहुत मिक्स स्ट्रक्चर था, थोड़ा प्लूरलिस्टिक सोसाइटी थी पुराने जमाने में. So I get a lot of pictures of the Hindu temples also, and I have saved huge data, and I don't know if I will get some like-minded Hindu individual who would like to publish that, but I have been able to preserve a lot of. But it's again because of the India-Pakistan hate, that there are not many Hindus in India who are interested to work on Hindu heritage in Pakistan. But that's a political. Let's move to our heritage topic.
You know, just connecting thought on the topic. I was born in Middle East, in Bahrain, and though we came to India when I was quite young, and my father always told me that his best friends in Bahrain were Pakistanis, and the restaurant, his favorite restaurant, was also a Pakistani restaurant. I have many friends outside. They tell me कि जितनी भी लड़ाई झगड़ा है, जब आप पाकिस्तान में होते हो या इंडिया में होते हो, तो घरों में या मोहल्ले में किसी से बात करते वक्त आपको हो सकता है कि ठीक है दूसरी कंट्री, एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट इंडिया हेटिंग पाकिस्तान, वहां पर भी वो माहौल चलता है. बट देन we still have somewhere that love and respect deep in our hearts. So yeah, okay, continuing. Which area I wanted to know has more concentrations? आपने मंदिरों की बात की, गुरुद्वारों की बात की, बुद्धिस्ट श्राइन्स की बात की, तो आपके हिसाब से ऐसे कौन से एरियाज हैं जो आपने एक्सप्लोर किया जहां पर कंसंट्रेशन सबसे ज्यादा है और मेंटेन्ड भी है कुछ हद तक?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं. वी हैव टू जस्ट गो बैक टू जब 47 के बाद बहुत कम सिख रह गए थे, और जो जट सिख थे, मोस्ट ऑफ देम दे मूव टू इंडिया और दे गॉट किल्ड, एंड फ्यू ऑफ देम गॉट कन्वर्टेड आल्सो, जो इनटू मुस्लिम, इनटू इस्लाम, जो लार्ज लैंड होल्डर्स थे. But the actual Sikhs that we see in Pakistan now, they all are Pashtun Sikhs, जो अफगानिस्तान की बेल्ट के हैं, पेशावर की बेल्ट के हैं, और वो वहीं से हैं, सदियों से वहीं से हैं. So वो अपने आप को पठान सिख बोलते हैं. So in 1971, when that infamous photograph became public, जहाँ पे जनरल जगजीत सिंह अरोड़ा पाकिस्तान के 90,000 फौजियों को सरेंडर करवा रहा है, a lot of those army people were from Pathan region belt. So when they went back, then the problem started with those Sikhs, and Taliban also started giving them trouble. They started moving from Peshawar region, from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region to Nankana Sahib. So अब Nankana Sahib में बहुत कुछ families हैं. So that is the only area जहाँ पे कुछ Sikh रहते हैं. Regarding Hindus, it's a very different story. Hindus are in very large number in Sindh and Balochistan, very large number. We will cover that topic maybe in your next talk. That's in whole, that includes 10 sessions like this. I can discuss about their condition separately. Let's talk about the Sikhs now. So there are very few left in Nankana Sahib, but I will just give you one example. The highest education their girls reach is barely 10th grade. That is the biggest achievement for them. और जो पेशावर में हैं, they barely up to 5th or 8th grade. And the reason is not one simple thing. It's not that कि उनके लोग उनको तंग करते हैं. It is just overall, जब there is an influence of Islam and all, those people want them to maintain Sikhism, and the girls, they get into, boyfriend and all, they get married to Muslims. So to avoid that, they're trying to get the girls married at a very early stage. So that's why they are not making the girls educated. और जब तक female educated नहीं होगी, कैसे communities करेगी? और वो छोटे हकीम हैं, छोटे दुकानदार हैं. So their situation needs a lot more attention from the worldwide Sikh diaspora than putting money on the buildings. Abhi ji, हमारे बहुत ही respected Harbir ji, I just saw her message now. Harbir, how are you? ये हमारे शहर से हैं. She has been visiting in Pakistan a lot, and she has been also involved in a lot of those activities which are helping the people in Pakistan. So अगर हम वहाँ पे जो सिख लोग रहते हैं उनकी दशा को थोड़ा सा भी सुधार सकते हैं ना, I think that's where I personally feel very good if we can make some difference in a human being living in Pakistan. To me, that is also a part of heritage. जो जिंदा चलता हुआ इंसान का बनाया हुआ पुतला है, अगर हम उसका नहीं ख्याल रखेंगे, तो why are we putting hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in the buildings? But unfortunately, people will pay very easily. If I say कि इस गुरुद्वारे के लिए फंड चाहिए, लोग कहने कल इकट्ठे कर देने पैसे. But if I say कि फलाना सिख है, and those people are अमृतधारी, by the way, those of Pashtun Sikhs, जो मेरे वर्ग का, I'm not even qualified to be called a Sikh, बाल कट लेने हैं. But those people in Pakistan, the Pashtun Sikhs, उनके छोटे-छोटे बच्चों ने अमृत छका हुआ है. मतलब they are truly proper Guru ka Khalsa Singh baptized people.
Wow, that's really amazing. Now, talking about Sikhs, there are some books in Sikhism which, some people say are controversial, but some swear by them. For example, a very famous book is Suraj Prakash Granth. So, what is your take on that book?
Okay, so this is what we have to do. We have to remember, in Sikhism, there are very limited primary sources, not more than 25. And I feel proud to tell you that I have almost read all of them, trying to abstract the information related to Pakistan region. So I had to go through the whole thing because usme key search to milte nahi hai. So you have to read. Just for Suraj Prakash Granth by Kavi Santokh Singh, it took me about 8 to 10 months. Oh. And my partner in this venture is Sardar Inderjeet Singh, who's living in England. He's a good friend of you. You also interviewed him a few days. And I have another gentleman, Sardar Tarlochan Singh. So we over the phone kind of divide. Okay, तुसी ये पढ़ी जाना. जब कोई पाकिस्तान का शहर आया, मैंने उठे रोक देना. And then Inderjeet Singh will translate it for me. So that's how, as a team, I've been able to. You have to make it fun. वो करते हैं. I will just give you example of Suraj Prakash Granth as you named it. So there is a very famous Sakhi है अपने की 9th Guru Sahib, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji went to Amritsar. He was not let in, and he was made to stay outside. Yes. So in every Sakhi, I tried to find out कि Sakhi shuru कित्थों हुई है. Was there any mischievous idea behind it? And guess what it took me? It took me back to Suraj Prakash Granth. If you go to Suraj Prakash Granth, Ras 11, chapter number 21 and 22, it tells this story कि Guru Sahib गए उथे, and then उथे जड़ा सगा मेहरबान दी death तो बाद his son, he was living there. His name was Harji. Okay. Let me go back there a little bit for everyone. Guru Ramdas Ji, his son Prithi Chand, and then his son Meherban, and then his son Harji. Harji was the custodian of Darbar Sahib at that time. They were not doing well with Guru Arjan Dev Ji and Guru Har Gobind Ji. They were like cousins, but they were not going well with them. Mm-hmm. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is said कि उनको entry नहीं हुई, and वहाँ पे गुरुद्वारा भी बना हुआ है. But then I started searching some other my favorite sources, Patvahis these days. I'll read a quote from Patwahi. Patwahis उनके पुराने ज़माने से जितने भी लोग थे, they used to have like their family people who used to. It was very common in Hinduism, and even the old Sikh royal families, they should have some chronological database maintain रखते थे. हरिद्वार में बहुत पांडे बैठे होते हैं. They have that thing. Yeah. So in that entry I found, which says Guruji Baba Bakala गांव से चले, सने मगर मास दी पूर्णिमा के देव गुरु रामदास जी की नगरी गुरुचक में आए, सतगुरु पिता गुरु जी के स्थान अकाल बुंगे के पास डेरा किया, संगतां कोल गुरु तेग बहादुर जी का गुरु की नगरी आना सुन दर्शन पाने आईया, परस्पर आपस में चरण वंदना कर एक दूसरे से कुशल खेम पूछी। गुरु जी ने मक्खन शाह आदि मुखी सिखों के गैल श्री हरमंदिर जी का दर्शन किया। अगले दिवस एकम के दिन सुधा सरोवर से चल के हेर के आए गए। So now this is totally contrast. He's saying पहले बाहर तो बैठे सी, but he also went inside गुरु दरबार साहब का दर्शन किया. Now whenever it like this, then I have to compare with the third book also. Then I found another Patwahi Multani Sindhi. That writes it like this. I will again read it. Quote: गुरु तेग बहादुर जी महल नौमा, बेटा गुरु हरगोबिंद जी का, पोता गुरु अर्जन का, पड़पोता गुरु रामदास का, सूरजवंशी गोत्रा सोडी खत्री कीर्तपुर राजा कलौर, 71 मगर की पूर्णिमा गुरु चक निराला आए, गुरु द्वारका दास बेटा अर्जनी साहब पल्ला का, दीवान दरगाह मल बेटा का. सो इट्स राइटिंग कि उनके साथ साथ कौन थे. इट इज दैट डिटेल. दीवान दरगाह मल बेटा का, द्वारका दास छिब्बर का, मक्खन शाह बेटा देसे शाह का, पेलिया बंजारा ते होर फकीर आए. गुरु जी ने श्री दरबार हरमंदिर जी का दर्शन पाए. दर्शनी ड्योढ़ी के आगे कुछ उच्चे चबूतरे ते आसन लाया. सतगुरु का आना सुन गुरु हरजी बेटा गुरु मनोहर दास का, पोता गुरु पृथ्वीचंद का, बेटा कमल नैन को गैर लाए दर्शन करने पाए. परस्पर चरण बंदना हुई. गुरु जी एक दे गुरु चक से निवास कर गांव बेला वेर का चले गए. So what I'm trying to say is कि in this one I'm showing कि we should not just believe Suraj Prakash Granth with eyes closed. We should just put other perspective also. Now in my entire work I have not taken the liberty कि सच्चा कौन है झूठा कौन है. I'm not a historian. That's not my job. But I want my audience to read for every single story a different perspective. So here I'm using Suraj Prakash Granth to show it has quoted something that has produced hatred between just कहते हैं अंबर सरिये अंदर सरिये that came कि गुरु तेग बहादुर जी ने अंदर बढ़ने से देता. मैं अपने नानके रहना पिंड फराले, my dadke is Amritsar and my other colleagues used to tease me कि okay अंबर सरिये अंदर सरिये, और वो तो मेरे गलत सीखी. मैं क्या, now I want to show them that may not be right.
Yeah.
But on some other hand, if we go to some different places, you know, Suraj Prakash Granth has done beautiful explanation. Means whenever there is anything, any old scene, जैसे Guru Hargobind ji went to meet Sai Mian Mir. How Suraj Prakash Granth explain it? Sai Mian Mir ने किद्दां घोड़े दी वांग फड़ी थल्ले लाया. It is like as if you are watching a movie. So he has excellent poetic skills. So I used him in that context in a positive way. So I tried to filter out the material which is objectionable. I did not use it. So I used both to my benefit to make the audience aware in all such controversial materials.
Because we also heard the story that since Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was not allowed in Amritsar, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the only Sikh Guru who by choice never went to Amritsar. So
yeah, so again in the same one, you know, if you get, when you get a chance to read my book, when you get the book, in Pai Mani Singh chapter, there is a very interesting incident. I knew that will come to the minds of people. So there is a very interesting scene when Guru Gobind Singh Ji did not come. Then Pai Mani Singh's duty was to make the people kind of feel good at Amritsar. He was acting as he was the Diwan administrator now, like a manager. So his job to make the people of Amritsar understood why Guru Gobind Singh Ji could not visit. He had to go to Dakhan. So it's very interesting incidents which I have quoted quite in detail to cover that up. So I have tried to link those things. Now, see in my book, these things have nothing to do with Pakistan. But I have to correct it because these all come from the village of Mohammedipur in Kasur, because that's where Mohammedipur Mehrbaan Sodhi used to live. So I have included this nice anecdote in that chapter. So I have written the book. It seems like it's about Pakistan Sikh heritage, but no, I have included all interesting things of Sikh philosophy, and I have tried to put in different chapters wherever I found it can have a connection, because only then academics in India will start making academics in Pakistan. Otherwise, they will think Pakistan is Sikh heritage different. India, no, it's all connected. They have to send 5 MA history people every day on scooter Bajaj Chetak or anything from Amritsar to Lahore every day, mutually exchanging the scooters at the Wagah border. Only then we can accomplish the true stories of Sikh heritage.
Beautiful. No, this is actually quite interesting and important, and the way you have put it. And since we were talking about Amritsar, I know that in your book, you have mentioned that Amritsar is Sifti da Kar is not mentioned for the city of Amritsar that we have, whereas it is popular like that only. So what's the story behind that?
Yeah, actually, you know, when we see this is very, there are many things like that in my book, though, by the way. So first we need to find out who wrote this line. Lahore Sir, Amritsar, Sifsi Dakar, that is a full line. But then people, you know, who are into marketing, even if you see Hal Bazaar, Amritsar, if you just Google Gandhi Gate, Hal Bazaar, Amritsar, you will see there is a big board there. It will say Amritsar, Sifti Dakar.
Yes, yes.
और लिखण वाले ने की करता जेड़ा अगली लाइन अगला वर्ड सेगा लाहौर शहर वो कर देता लाहौर. Actually the line is Lahore, Sahar, Amritsar, Sifti Dakar. So first we need to find out who is the author of this quote. This is on Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji the Ang number 1412 te Ang hega hai. It is written by Guru Amar Das. Guru Amar Das Ji is third Guru of Sikhs. At that time, Amritsar city was not even actually in existence. So that's why there is a chapter in my book called Bauli Guru Amar Das in Lahore, where Guru Sahib Ji went. उत्थे पहला गुरु नानक देव जी भी गए हुए सके. गुरु नानक देव जी ने क्या सगा श्लोक लाहौर शहर जहर कहर सवा पहर. So this was kind of, it is said that Guru Sahib had given like a curse to Lahore people that, you know, they have suffered terrible destruction for about 4 hours. And then when Guru Amar Das Ji went, then people said ki nahi Guru Nanak Dev Ji Padshah ne eho ji gal kahi hui hai sade Lahore shahar bare, please say something nice about our city so that we can be at peace. Then Guru Sahib said ki okay, you know, now there is a Guru Ramdas Ji that janam hoya. You know, there are many reasons why it is said this, but he means pool of nectar. You know, it is not, it is like a sacred pool of elixir. You can say it's like a metaphor. Amritsar means like a sacred pond of elixir. This does not point towards the city of Amritsar, which was not even founded then.
Exactly.
So I hope I'm able to make it clear. But
it was called Chakramdaspura.
Yes, exactly.
During the period we are talking about, Amritsar name came much later.
Exactly. So that time it was Chak Ramdaspur. Even Chak, it was not Chak Ramdaspur because that was first the name by Guru Ramdas Ji. Before that, you know, this all land has been the kind of, you know, nearby villages, Tong and all other villages. And later on, for sometimes it was after fourth Guru, it got developed as Guru Ka Chak or Chak Ramdas. And then over a period of time, Amritsar. But when this line is being written at the time of third Guru, इना च कोई नाम भी उस वेले
exactly right
so इदां दी गल्लां मैं insert हर एक chapter च कुछ ना कुछ कीतियां होईयां ताकि to make it a bit interesting for the students or something to learn differently. No, next time you go to Amritsar, we see that line, but we can't dare to remove it because now it is ingrained in everyone that it's written about Amritsar. See that the problem की हुंदी है किसे एक ने तो कर लिख लिया पर उन्हें तुसी दोबारा उतार नहीं सकते. You can't even talk about that. They will, you know, you will be kicked out.
You know, quite interestingly, similar thing happened. I was doing some research on Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and in his palace, so he said that his palace extended from the palace of Humayun to so and so areas. Now, someone was telling me palace of Humayun means Humayun's tomb because his city was extended to that place. But Humayun was born 2-3 centuries after Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So, you know, people often confuse these dates and they don't realize that history has always to be read in a chronological order. You need to see when it was written, what exactly was happening over there. Beautiful. I think this is very important for people to know. And one more thing, you have got 2 chapters on Bhai Taru Singh Ji Shaheed. Before that, I would request कि आप थोड़ा सा एक intro ये भी दीजिए कि भाई तारू जी कौन थे, because I know मेरे बहुत सारी audience है जो नहीं जानती होगी उनको, and then the 2 chapter thing.
Okay, Bhai Taru Singh Shaheed, a lot of people would have seen the picture, you know, कि सर के खोपड़ी के ऊपर ऐसे पकड़ा हुआ है, and then the Jalad is cutting his scalp off. So Bhai Taru Singh is a Sikh warrior, you know, in the mid 18th century. You know, he was martyred in Amritsar, in Lahore, sorry. So he is known कि उन्होंने अपने केश नहीं काटे थे. That's why he is really very famous. उनकी generally होता है कि he did not, क्योंकि उनको option दी गई थी कि तुम केस कटा लो, but he refused to do so. So he maintained Sikhism by choosing martyrdom. He refused to adopt Islam. So your question is really good. This is the first time actually I have participated in a lot of meetings, interviews, but nobody asked me this question. Why I have 2 chapters on Bhai Taru Singh in my book. So the first chapter is Gurdwara Shaheed Ganj Bhai Taru Singh, where everybody by mistake thinks कि Bhai Taru Singh जी दी उत्थे शहीदी हुई है, but that is not true. उस जगह ते Bhai Taru Singh जी the torture ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, he was tortured there, he was scalped there. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਦੇ ਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਟੂਰਿਸਟ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਧ ਤੇ. It's next to ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ. But I haven't seen any book after 47 which has located actually that that was not the place where actually he passed away. Why it was important for me? Because that is very important for Sikh students to understand that how people at that time used to have the skills of negotiation. So ki hoya ki jadon Bhai Taru Singh Shaheed, at that time, you know, he was badly wounded. You know, other Sikh ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਏ. ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਉਸ ਗਲੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੀ ਹਨੂਮਾਨ ਗਲੀ. Even today the name is written there, Hanuman Gali. Now the name is changed to Faruqiya Gali, but still you will find Hanuman Gali ਉੱਥੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ. It's near the Gumti Bazaar. ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ 2-3 ਵੀਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ. So at that time Zakaria Khan got really sick, so he got some serious issues, some urine problem, and then somebody told him, Muslim Peer, ki this is because you have tortured Bhai Taru Singh. So he sent his someone mediator, and that mediator who was Subeg Singh, actually Subeg Singh is a Sikh character, but he used to work for Zakaria Khan. So he went to Bhai Taru Singh at that place in the Hanuman Gali, and then ਹੁਣ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ, so he asked for forgiveness. So very important thing happened which we need to learn, ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੁਝ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, so and Zakaria Khan was being remorseful, so they asked something in return, which was, I will quote Parchin Panth Prakash. It is written by Ratan Singh Pangu, very very famous book. He's writing, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜੋ 12 ਮਾਜਰੇ ਥੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਸਾਥ, ਛੋਟੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਦੇ ਉਠਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਾਥ, ਖਾਨ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਖਾਨੂ ਪੈਣ ਵਸੇ ਫਰਜ਼ੁੱਲਾ ਖਾਂ ਕੇ ਐਨ, ਫਰਜ਼ੁੱਲਾ ਪੁਰ ਤਿਸ ਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਵਸਾਇਆ, ਨਵਾਬ ਕਪੂਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਥੋਊ ਵਸਾਇਆ, ਤਿਸਕੋ ਪਟੋ ਦੈ ਕਲਾਏ, ਸਿੰਘ ਪੁਰੋ ਤਿਸ ਨਾਮ ਤਰਾਏ. So they put these terms that, okay, we may forgive you, though Bhai Taru Singh was saying, okay, I don't want to even consider this forgiveness or anything, just you go. But other Sikhs decided ki okay, hun jana te he has to, jo Paramatma da paana si o te vart gaya, now let's get something in return. So they're asking ki jehda Farzullahpur shehar hega, we want it to name changed to Singhpura, renamed to Singhpura. So they got that thing. There was big land holding attached to it. It was next to Amritsar, and there are Muslim characters names in there, Khan Bahadur's sister, Khano Begum. So when I'm including these paragraphs to these buildings, that attracts the Muslim historians, Islamic historians, Pakistani historians. They feel, oh, these are names from their history. Then they start liking these buildings. Wow, this is Pakistan's heritage. Now let's start doing something. It's not just, it's a Sikh history building. It is connected to our, and there are so many rich primary sources which are telling the name of the villages, how many villages, Khan Bahadur, the sister of Zikr Hega. So that's how I'm trying to connect and put a separate chapter so that we can know कि जिथे आप जाके मत्था टेकी जा रहे हैं, that's not where he passed away. That's where he was tortured. And the actual place, I have put exact coordination of that gully, Hanuman Gully. Now the name is Faruqiya Gully. So that's, I have totally two separate chapters. And that's where on July 1st, 1745, Bhai Taru Singh finally expired after about 3 or 4 weeks, it said, of suffering.
And those who don't know, or those who are curious what happened to Zakaria Khan after that, the story that I have heard is that the Amritsar Gurudwara said that the only punishment that Zakaria Khan could get is कि उनके सिर पे जूते मारे जाए Bhai Taru Singh के.
Yeah, so, और वो तभी हुआ था, actually that happened at that particular place. So there कुछ शरारती बंदे भी होंगे हैं. So they said कि okay, ये कल्ले इन्ने नाल गल नहीं बननी. We not only want this lease holding. उन्होंने इल्त करती कि जेड़ा भाई तारू सिंह दी जुत्ती हैगी है, ये भी ले जाओ, ओदे सिर च मारी जाओ, जिन्ना चिर जो सिर च वजी जाऊगी, उन्हें पेशाब आई जाऊगा. So no, that is also, that happened exactly at that spot. So along with that fact, they also added this thing just to add to the humility of Zakaria Khan. Thank you. Thanks for reminding.
I think Zakaria Khan died of that beating on head. If I'm not, yeah, he died of that slippers.
Yeah, he died just in a few days after that.
Yeah. Okay. I know many of us, we others also want to ask a lot of questions. This is such an interesting topic. Before I pass on to rest of the audience, one question more from my side. Which is your favorite book that you have referenced for your research?
Okay, there are so many books I've used. You know, I have maybe the largest bibliography that you can find in a Sikh history book, and many of them are from Persian, Portuguese, French, Urdu, Farsi, Hindi, even some Sanskrit quotes. It's very difficult, but I would still say Patvahis are my favorite because I find them, they are written so close to the people, like Pai Mani Singh. Everybody knows about Pai Mani Singh. You know, he was the Shaheed. This is from the Patwahi account. I find out Pai Mani Singh da jada birth da naam Pai Mani Ram si.
Okay.
So I found that oda jada ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਭੂਆ ਜੀ ਸੀ, her name was ਬੀਬੀ ਮਲੂਕੀ। ਪਟਵਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਮਲੂਕੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਅਕਬਰ ਬਾਦਸ਼ਾਹ ਕੋ, ਜਿਹ ਬੇਟੀ ਕਹਿ ਬਿਠਲਾਈ, ਧੜਾ ਪੰਸੇਰੀ ਕਾਠ ਕੋਰੜਾ, 16 ਜਤੀਆਂ में ਸਨਮਾਨ कराई। So Patwai is telling that the family was so influential that his aunt even met King Akbar.
Okay.
And now, as I'm quoting Akbar, I'm giving leads to my student or my friends or history researchers in Pakistan. Let's look into, because unki Mughals ki, we all know, you know that, you know better than anyone, Mughals, the bookkeeping was zabardast hai. We will be able to tally the accounts. So with the Patwahi, we are able to find what was his Pua's name. And then also in another Patwahi, which is called Patwahi Kar Sindhu, Pargana Safidon, there is Pai Maidas. Pai Maidas is now the father of Pai Mani Singh. He's meeting Shah Jahan. It says, Maidas Shah Jahan ko milya, vekhe Hindu Musalman, Maidas tere tambu gain meh chule, deodi bar khade darban. So these kind of things I had not seen in being quoted by other people. And similarly, it was Ad Sakhiyan, similarly, it was Guru Bilas Patshahi, Shemi, Dasmi. Now, all of these things have been tainted with a lot of controversies. So that's why many scholars tend to shy away from them, or they are written in old archaic Punjabi. It's very difficult to translate, but it is a lot of fun. You have to bring something that has not been used before. Again, you know, Jade Pat Hunde Si, they used to say something in the praise. So in the same, by Mani Singh quote, it says, the Patwai says, Tan Maidas, Maidas is Pai Mani Singh's father. Tan Maidas ki Dharamsal bandai, tera langar avadan, teri madad guru chakwala, diya dan lakh dan, jas jod chokha pat gave, saal 1692, Kartarpur ke Amalhan. It even has the years which are not given in Janamsakhis. Today, Janamsakhis are they're not authentic considered because they don't have any times. They have everything. They have written the whole story, but they don't give any dates or timing. But the Patwahis, it tells ki keda din si, keda meena si, desi meene, and saal. It goes quite. Beautiful. It is very helpful for me to compare with the other modern scholars what I find from these old Patwahis.
This is beautiful. Sumit is already asking a question. Where we buy these books? Are they available on Amazon? I think Sumit, you're asking about Patwahis right now.
Okay, so, most of my work has been, I have a kind of, I'll say, I have borrowed with the help of San Jose Public Library. I'm sitting there for the last 4 years. The librarians know me. They browse all the libraries in the world to get these ancient manuscripts for me. So it's in San Jose, California, it's a free service. They get all the books for me. In India, I have not been able to access any universities. I was not granted permission. Same in Pakistan. I tried a lot to get archives of India and Pakistan. I was not able. So once you get in relation with any librarian, you tell them what you want, build a relation. It is a matter of few weeks, few days. And if you still can't find anything like that, in my back of my book, I have put exact information from where I found that book. What is the way to reach to that? Because I really want everyone to go to that page number. I don't want you guys to waste even a minute to find kede page tak hi likha hai. So I have put the publication, and if it's just a manuscript handwritten, my bibliography and notes are 30 pages. Actually, that added a lot of weight to my book, and it's a big book. So 30 pages was adding a lot to the weight and the cost. But I did it so that I'm just a mediator here. I want people to actually go back to those page numbers and read what because there are a lot of things which I could not write. I don't want to get into controversy. So I skipped those lines which were being written, which could have offended a lot of audience. So, but I have written the page number. I have stayed short of writing that line. But if someone goes there, they can do further research. You know, that is the job of academic people or serious researchers who are doing PhD, who are writing thesis. I left the job for them, but I have given them enough clues to go back to that page number and see what someone is quoting against or in favor.
This is really amazing. In India, if you need help, the best option is IGNCA, Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. Their library is by far the largest that I've seen. University libraries, they don't have anything over here. Well, not the kind of content that we guys look for. So IGNCA and National Archaeological Library, which is right now shifted to new ASI headquarters, Archaeological Survey of India headquarters near Supreme Court. So these are the places from where whatever basically IGNCA is the body of government which restores all the manuscripts. So all their centers in India, they have access to everything across globe. And the Delhi library that IGNCA has is full of catalogs from all world's libraries. So whichever manuscript or document or book you require, you just need to check, the catalogs of those countries, cities, libraries. So yeah. Okay, questions, others, feel free to ask. We can spend a few more minutes. I know it's quite late in US, but given this lockdown, I think you guys are already staying, up late. Like we guys are also sleeping at 1 or 2 in the night these days.
Yes, Rahim Khan ji has a very good question. क्या कुछ गुरुद्वारे mosque में भी convert किए जा चुके हैं?
जी.
So in my first volume, I tried not to include any such building because in Pakistan, my entire team is Muslim. Only one is a Sikh guy, So it becomes very sensitive. People are okay when they see the religious building getting converted to school, to university, to hospital. When they see some other religious, then it becomes an issue. So I have tried not to include any such building in my particular book. There are few here and there, but I would like to, sorry, I did not catch the name of the person who was asking. If you can contact me later if you want to, if I don't know if you're in Pakistan or India, if you want to do any specific work on mosques, which were, actually it's very easy to change the architecture. Gurdwara ke to aage aapko minar lagane hai, it becomes a mosque. I've seen ki building ka religion kaise change hota hai. Even I saw that in Gwalior. And I saw that in Spain. Lot of Islamic buildings were converted to Christian church. How to change the religion of building, uske alag mistri hote hain. बहुत आसान है गुरुद्वारा को. So it is, वो पत्थर, हाँ जो पत्थर दे बेचारा पत्थर ही है ना, पत्थर दे ऊपर थोड़ा सा है करके उधर रिलीजन चेंज होगा. और जो मिस्त्री है उन्हें तो जेडी राजा है उन्हें तो उधर चेंज कर देना.
That is true.
And it is going on forever. And when we read history, when you do research, you have to be a little open-minded कि चलो थे लोग की रहते हैं उन्हें जाके मैं प्यार नाल मिलता. I know many mosques which were gurdwaras before, and I have tried to actually use this trick in the book. I have used very small picture of some mosques. I have not tried to make it like a big deal. You can't work like that. India, Pakistan has a lot of issues. We have to deal this issue very, very
sensitive,
very carefully.
So Ramin Khan is from Delhi only. Is a very good friend, and he has been doing research on heritage within India, and he's also doing very good work. So I know him quite well. Seema,
I see some questions.
Yeah.
So there is some question
also asking, what are your views on Paivir Singh's book, especially Satnam Kaur and Sundari? And does it have any connection with the work that you have done, by the way?
I'm sorry, no connection. But my work is limited up to first six gurus because of Pakistan, which areas only first 6 gurus were involved. Only time I have read a little bit about Dasmi Patshahi.
Yes.
Is when Pai Mani Singh is in Anandpur Sahib and he's coming to Amritsar. So my entire research work for this first volume is limited to first 6 gurus, because after 6th guru, no Sikh guru went to that part of the Punjab. So unfortunately, I won't be able to. So that's why I have not read any work regarding.
Paivir Singh has also not written much about shrines in Pakistan.
Yeah, actually, my work is not about shrines. I try to read history related to those ones, and I have not. So, see, all the new authors, I really like Paivir Singh's work, by the way. I have read his translation of a Janam Sakhi. I forgot the name of his book. It's something Guru Nanak Prakash or something like that. So it's good. His work is really good. But my job is to find out some ancient primary sources. So even if I used some modern books, I tried to go back to their page and try to find where did they get the information from, and I went to that. And in that process, I found major mistakes in some of the very prominent historians of the times also, because I have access in my office from people who are from Iran, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, who can read the Persian sources, who can read the Indo-Urdu script. And I got it translated again, and I found some serious issues, even in the work of Sardar Khushwant Singh, even Sardar Kapoor Singh Sachi Sakhi. It's not that their entire work is, I've used their work a lot, but of course there are some issues here and there. Even Max McAuliffe's work, you can find certain things, because when they got the things translated, it is possible they did not get it right at that time.
Seema Bhallaji has shared some anecdote and also asked a question. She's a very known historian and researcher. She has done a lot of work on art, architecture, and one is she has added a piece of information that regarding to Bhatts, there still would be oral information that has not been penned down. My memories of childhood visit to Jammu takes me to a particular Bhatt who had enormous information on the history of Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. And she also is asking you, what do you think about Gurdwara architecture becoming unanimously recognizable in India, but that of some of the Gurdwaras in Pakistan is very different, varying according to the period and indigenous architectural style?
Very good question. And actually, that is my number one reason of interest in Pakistan. Still, we find each building has its own architecture. And sorry to say, if anything got damaged there, it happened in this last 1 year, because a lot of money was spent by Sikh NRIs, and a lot of new Gurdwaras were built in last year due to Kartarpur Sahib. I can give example. Myself, I was there, Gurdwara Dera Sahib Lahore. It was being expanded. They did good expansion, but now Maharaja Ranjit Singh Samad and Rashnai Darwaja, where Nihal Singh died or killed, it is completely got hidden now because the Gurdwara became so big. Jisne bhi purane architect they built that Gurdwara 100 years ago, they kept it a little low platform, so that there is a very important structure for Sikh history. Maharaja Ranjit Singh Samad and Nihal Singh di jehda death wala Rashnai Darwaja hai, you can't obscure that. You can't. In architecture, you have to be very careful about space being taken by one particular building. When I spoke to them, they said, but we are not touching that. Why are you upset? We are not touching that building. It's not about touching. So just to prepare for large gathering for 2 or 3 days a year, remember, these Gurdwaras in Pakistan are going to get really full only at the time of Gurpurbs or Maharaj the Shahidi, then only 4 or 5 times a year. Just for that, we can't ignore Pakistan's the inch the Sikh history heritage per year. You can't just keep building the large, very massive Gurdwara buildings, which is happening in India. हर एक पिंड च 2-3 गुरुद्वारा साहब हैं और बहुत बड़े हैं. मैं तो दुआबे ਨੂੰ belong करता. Money came from abroad. It's huge. They are big. But see how many times they are really full of people. ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਨੇ ਆ, ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਬਣਾਉਨੇ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਬਣਾਉਨੇ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਬਣਾਉਨੇ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੀਡ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਬਣਾਉਨੇ ਆ ਕਿੰਨੀ. But when it comes to Gurdwaras, we don't make them according to need. We just do कि ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਨਾਲ ਪੈਸੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ. We need to change this stereotype of building Gurdwara just according कि ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋ ਇੰਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋ funds ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ. We need to stay modest. Sikhism, the more you keep going back to these books, actually Sikhism है ही modesty ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ. You have to stay ਚਕਾ ਚੌਂਦ ਸ਼ਾਨੋ ਸ਼ੌਕਤ ਵਾਲਾ, ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ I don't want to go into these things. मतलब they were really simple. अपना life करो, Sikh philosophy जेडी हैगी है, अपना काम करो, मतलब don't get into these gigantic large structures.
I think this holds true for all the religions, because this is what is happening now. Religious sites have become hubs of politics or money making, and in the expansion is the easiest way to gather money. I've seen this across all religions. Reshma ji has also put a point that architecture are spatial narratives. As an architect, I feel really sad and sad that insensitive, non-contextual expansions are happening that are erasing history. Exactly what we are talking about.
Thank you so much. I would really like to talk to Reshma ji later on. I'm trying to find someone, because I have so much artwork from Pakistan Sikh Gurdwaras and architectural style and all, and I just have all in my computer, but I don't know what does it mean. So I need someone who can guide me or teach me. I read a few books recently, just in the last 2-3 weeks, about Sikh architecture, but I still need someone who can help me decipher the actual Sikh architecture and artwork. It will be helpful.
I think we guys can do that. We have got a very good network of people who know all this, and I think we can get into that.
Yes, very. Reshma ji gave good example of Abu Dhabi ki mosque. Yeah, you're right. So. And I see that, in Pakistan, you will go to a really small Gurdwara, you will get really good feeling. Purani peeli rang di kand, oh ittan sangmar nahi hoga, yellow rang di, tuscany color di. Yep. You will just feel good. though of course they are not from Guru's time, but still it takes you back at least 100 years. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ feeling good ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। Those small ਪੀਲੇ ਰੰਗ ਦੇ yellow color ਦੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਤਲਬ 30-40 ਬੰਦੇ। ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਨਕਾਣਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਨਨਕਾਣਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਨ ਜਨਮ ਸਥਾਨ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਛੋਟਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਠੀਕ ਲੱਗਦਾ। ਹੁਣ ਪਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਿਨ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਕੰਮ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਚੱਲੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਸੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ actually, and we keep blaming Karseva wale Babe. It's not their mistake again. You know, I don't think, again, it's not media or Karseva wale. It's what public wants to show ki mere dharm da bahut vadda hai as compared to dooja dharm, and that's how it starts. And then we don't include the archaeologists, we don't include the historians, we don't include the architects who can tell ki okay, tusi apni dharmic raw riti de naal bana leo, but let us give some input from academic architecture point of view. Keep the ceiling a little low because there is something here. That all has to be put into consideration, just as compared to just the money that has gone in.
So Seemaji is saying that Gurdwara architecture is basically a synergy of Mughal, Rajput, and partly Bengali architecture. I had published it in 2008 as part of my weekly column for Hindustan Times. We need to work on maintaining the original of the old architecture as part of our Sikha. It is true. In fact, I don't know how many people have explored this, but when you go to the Golden Temple, Amritsar, so Harmandir Sahib, although they put gold everywhere and the Gurdwara was destroyed when Maharaja Ranjit Singh rebuilt it, अंदर पूरा पेंट वर्क उसमें किया गया था। और अभी भी जब आप बिल्कुल छत पर जाते हैं तो सीढ़ियों की जो ऊपर वाले फ्लोर पे जो छत है, सीढ़ियों जो है, सीढ़ियों में छत पे क्योंकि गोल्ड नहीं लगा हुआ, तो वहां पर वो पेंटिंग्स पुरानी नजर आ जाती हैं। बाकी सब जगह गोल्ड लगा दिया तो जितना भी पेंट वर्क था वो सारा अंदर छुप चुका है। सो यहाँ पर भी था। एंड आई डोंट थिंक कि इंडिया में देयर इज ओनली वन मोर गुरुद्वारा दैट आई नो इन इंडिया जहां पर ये ओरिजिनल पेंट वर्क और ये सारा वर्क जो है पुराने टाइम का बचा हुआ है।
बाबा अटल है, उसके पास ही गुरुद्वारा बाबा अटल, right next to that has really nice frescoes. That's the only place I have seen in India, Gurudwara Baba Atal.
In Gurudwara Baba Atal, do we have human figures and all? I don't know.
I've seen, not seen. जैसे ना मतलब even Darbar Sahib, this is what I have tried to include from architecture point of view. You know how the cities, like many people, we don't even know the entire city of Amritsar or Darbar Sahib. Actually, I'll just read a quote from my chapter, Jassa Singh Ahluwalia chapter but it's about Darbar Sahib construction, because Jassa Singh Ahluwalia is known to have kind of rebuilt the entire city of Amritsar. जिन्हें कटड़े वगैरह बनाए थी after he conquered Kapurthala in 1767. Then he started rebuilding the city of Amritsar, including Darbar Sahib. There is a quote which I would like to include. This is from Jassa Singh Binod. That's it. See, I have tried to include the official chroniclers of these people, not the new books from last 100 or 200 centuries. I have tried to find the contemporary sources. So Jassa Singh Binod, the book, it tells about Jassa Singh Ahluwalia's construction of Amritsar. It says, Ahmad Shah Badshah ne darbar ko misr maar kara sa. That means Ahmad Shah Abdali had demolished the city. पर फिर आपने इमारत शुरू करी, भाई देसराज दरोगा किया, ग्रंथी और रदासिया ते मुतसदी को खजांची को दरोगा आपने तैनात किए, और मकान अमृतसर का, ये मकान अमृतसर जी का जो गिरवी पड़ा हुआ था, साहब ने नुशहरिये पास ता उसको रुपए दे करके छुड़वाया. Means he is saying that this shrine of Amritsar was under mortgage with Sahib Rai Nushahriya. And Jassa Singh Ahluwalia paid money back and he got the shrine back. And then he's allotted these sites. सरदारों को कटड़ियां वास्ते और हवेलियां ते बुंगियां ਲਈ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ बांट दी. जगरावां के नौरिया खान को दुकान से सेठा शाहूकारों के गुमस्ते ते सरकार ने परवाने नौरियों को लिखे. फिर कितने के सालों के बाद जब पूछा ता 14 लाख रुपया इमारत की लगायत आई. Means 14 lakh rupees at that time were spent on the construction of Darbar Sahib Amritsar. Now, this has nothing to do with heritage of Pakistan as such, but try to include, because I was writing about chapter about Alu Pind. Alu Pind is from where all Ahluwalias started. That is a village in Pakistan. Right. And then Jassa Singh Ahluwalia comes. And then I found this something interesting while researching all these books. So I had to fit these things into the chapters to make it something new information. Because now, can you believe someone says Darbar Sahib was mortgaged? कि मतलब
Even
एक अपना
I'm
सब तो
getting
बड़ा
it for the first time.
या अपना सब तो बड़ा मुकद्दस श्राइन हैगा
Wow.
उसको गिरवी रखा था या शहर ਨੂੰ गिरवी रखਿਆ ਸੀ the line is not clear it says मकान गिरवी रखा था so but it gives chance to new students new researchers okay let's look into this Jassa Singh Vinod that is a contemporary source about Jassa Singh Ahluwalia instead of just keep reading these modern books of last 150 years 200 years books are very modern we need to go back to those old books and do our own research ਅੱਜਕੱਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਰੇਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਿਆਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਦੀ ਦਵਾਈ ਪੁੱਛ ਲਓ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਤੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੱਸ ਦਊਗਾ ਕਲੌਂਜੀ ਖਾ ਲਓ ਜੀ ਫਲਾਣਾ ਹਰੇਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਦਾ ਅੱਜਕੱਲ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੈ we all have you know we need to get into those primary sources on our own and then it's very much enjoyable to research these things that's how I am doing.
I think we have already overshot our time, but the discussion is so amazing, and of so many other things. One major thing that I have gathered from this discussion with you is that when you're talking about Amritsar, you cannot skip Lahore. When you're talking about Lahore, you should not skip Amritsar. They have been twin cities. That's kind of one subtle hint that I'm getting, and I know that you have put it so beautifully in your book. Though I don't have a physical copy, but I was lucky enough to read a large portion of it, and I really loved it. What I'm gonna do is, the moment this lockdown is over, I'll put a link of this book on my wall, so that all the members who have joined and others, they can also get a copy. It's really amazing.
Can I just say one thing, or you're running out of time? I just need to say one thing.
It's okay. I mean, I am free. You can.
Okay, so मैं तो free हूँ इस काम के लिए. So when your all listeners go, I can go. It's okay. So शिव जी ने कहा है कि राम राय की जगह है, उसमें बहुत अच्छे फ्रेस्कोस हैं. He is absolutely right. That is a place in Dehradun.
मैं वही मेंशन करने वाला था, क्योंकि अभी शुभ, मैं और our other friends तृप्ति एंड नुपुर, हमारा ग्रुप है छोटा सा, हम लोग वही डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि जो फ्रेस्कोस ह्यूमन फिगर्स के बचे हुए हैं, इनफैक्ट वहां पर यू हैव ब्रिटिश सोल्जर्स, ब्रिटिश ड्रेस में सोल्जर्स भी हैं जो गुरुद्वारे पे बने हुए हैं. So
I'll talk about Ram Rai a little bit. Again, Ram Rai is a controversial is a controversial person. So we always just say कि Ram Rai, हाँ जी उसने बचपन से उसने गुरबानी को change किया था, so he is criticized, which is okay. मतलब he is not a hero at all. He tried to do something, but we need to remember he was only 14, 15 years old at that time, and then his whole life story, it has a lot of connection with Lahore. So when he was in Lahore, he went actually there with Aurangzeb. So we can connect now the history of Aurangzeb in something different than what we have been reading about Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj only. So there was a time in Lahore when, along with Aurangzeb, Ram Rai, because Ram Rai later on, he was kicked out of Sikhism. So he joined the, you can say, camps of Aurangzeb. So he became favorite of Aurangzeb, and he one time visited Lahore along with him. So there is a very interesting chapter about that, which I have written. It's called Chubacha Ram Rai. It is actually one of the largest chapters in my book, which is something new. It was a very big Gurdwara. It was like Ram Rai's headquarters, other than Dehradun, before 1947. Now there are hundreds of houses in that one place. It's still called Chubacha, but they have removed the word Ram Rai. So it's really a big place, and I tried to include over there some nice anecdotes also, how the Sikhs treated him, because Guru Sahib had told, okay, don't look at him anymore. Like he has been
finished.
Guru Sahib, he had kind of told him, okay, you don't belong to Sikhism at all. But still some Sikhs thought, okay, Guru Sahib the beta hai gaya. So they tried to treat him nicely and all that. And then when Guru Har Rai Ji heard that, they said, okay, no, I don't want it at all. He should not face me at all. So that's a very nice story. And then Sai Mia Mir met him. So it's a nice discussion that is happening, how the disgruntled son of Guru Har Rai Ji, he's being held in Lahore by the people of Lahore at that time. Then later on, he moved to Dehradun, where he built this, his followers later on built this, this place.
Okay. So just give me 1 second. Yeah. So we've got a lot of messages here. You mentioned that Harbir ji ke saath aapne kuch mention kiya tha about girls and the community. Harbir ji, you want to share? Please feel free. You can unmute and you can share.
Sure. Hi, everyone. really, really happy to see my Veed here speaking about all these matters. He and I are both very passionate and feel we are both activists trying to create awareness, but we leave the historians to be the specialists. And I appreciate him so much for the work he's doing because we both love the space. But there's a couple points he brought up, and I think just to touch on that, as he mentioned that for the women and the girls, there are a lot of opportunities, but as he said, it's not a question of the locals that are preventing them or Sikhi that's preventing them. There's a huge sense of fear, and a fear that they may lose their own heritage because they themselves are coming from a point of minority. And this is where it's so important that the local community and the people like him and myself and others that are on this call really try to uplift all the people, not just only the Sikh minority and the women. But we do have to start there, because if Sikhi is to survive, or the heritage is to survive, it will need the strength of the families that are there. And as he said, in Nankana Sahib, there's only anywhere between 200 to 400 families, depending on how you identify them, because Nanak Panthis are a significant portion of the community. And I'm sure he could speak to that subject for a long time, actually. There's, I think, over 1 million Nanak Panthis in Pakistan. So I would just to follow up on what he asked me to speak in the beginning, that the project work we're doing there is to really uplift the young women and help them go beyond 10th grade. There are only 2 women in the whole country of Pakistan that are from a Sikh background that have done. The first one is a PhD or almost PhD in philosophy. There's only one in the whole country. And then the second one is on her path to complete this. But people like you must encourage it, otherwise it will not continue. So that's to speak to his point about some of the project work. And the only other thing I would mention is that, as he spoke about the love that people have, as even a female having gone there, I do not think of it as a foreign country from India when I think of my heritage. I think of my heritage is between the 2 places the same. I have so much love when I go there that I just want to go back there again and again. So I would encourage anybody to come. And we're taking tours to people there to come work on projects. So there's a lot of opportunity. You will be in love with the people. They treat you like their own. And finally, the other thing he has mentioned about the sites, there are so many undiscovered sites even till today. I took my father, and I think Dalbir knows my father. We went to find his ancestral homes in this last visit in February, actually, just before the lockdown. And we went from Lahore to Pasrur. Pasrur is south of Sialkot if you look on the map. Along the way, we found shrines that were lost in the foliage and the farmlands. And by a distance, we saw them. When we went closer, they were small. Shrine is a really, of course, generic term, but it was I would say you could think of a symbol of memory for a person's family member, but it was in the Sikh architecture style. And when we read the words, there were women in the 1800s who found pride in remembering their husbands, who made these small shrines all the way to Pasrur. And apparently that's not very common in other parts of the region. But the women of that region had enough resources to make these small shrines of their husbands, which look like little gurdwaras. And people came and they said, nobody's come and ever asked. So his work is not over yet. There is so much more to be done because there's so much that is still undiscovered. And I really hope it continues.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. I can see the clock on this recording thing. It says 1 hour 53 minutes. I was hoping this to be a 1 hour session.
Let's do another one. I really like this. So maybe another day. Give me another chance. I have so much to cover.
Definitely. Definitely what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan another one in about 2-3 weeks from now, because I already have some guests lined up for next 2 weeks. After that, let's do this again, because what we have done was amazing. And it's more like, how do we put it? कि अभी ना बस वो जुबान को थोड़ा सा खून लग गया है, अब तलब जागी है, तो अब मन कर रहा है और सुनने का और जानने का. But lovely, thanks a lot for joining, and thank you everyone, those who have been with us. It was such a lovely session, and we will definitely come up with more sessions like these. And Dr. Pannu, you have to come back and interact with me.
I would love to.
Really lovely.
And by the way, I can see behind you, what are those? Those are the tags for your tourists when you take them for Bali's tour?
No,
what are those?
not those ones. So what you see over there is wherever I speak, whenever I speak in some university or college or any this kind of place. So the tag that they give me is what I keep with me, and all the gifts that I've got from TEDx, and that is by the Postal Department of India. This is by Kumaon Literature Festival. That's Rabindranath Tagore, made by slum students of Asim Asha. And so everywhere in my room, I've got gifts that have been prepared by some students or some teachers wherever I teach.
Very good. Very good. So proud of you. और जैसे Rajeshwar ji पूछ रहे हैं about Katas Raj, I will actually show him the whole video of Katas Raj Hindu temple. So when I go to Pakistan, my live video is on. I show all the temples, Hindu temples, because my Hindu friends request. And when I go to India, my Muslim friends from Pakistan request to show the mosques and all. So then I visit the entire central India to show them Aurangzeb, Akbar, Jahangir, all those places. So it's my passion to show the people of opposite religion, what the other country has taken because of partition. So Rajeshwar ji, I will share the actual video of Katas Raj with you. Thank you.
You can consider us to be your extended team in India. We have got a very strong team here spread across India. The Heritage Photography Club that I run has got almost 12,000 members who contribute photographs. So we have quite a good reach here.
Thank you. I just want to add just one last thing. So recently we have started this thing is to raise local awareness for heritage sites in Pakistan. So my criteria for that is, in Pakistan, you have to teach the history teachers, the professors in the area around the Gurdwara, and then put the money there, not by the Sikh Sangat. Don't waste your money unless there are some people in Pakistan who are showing genuine interest, and I really feel honored to share with you. Yesterday, somebody in Pakistan, a Muslim guy, he donated 50,000 rupees to a local Gurdwara in Kanganpur. That has actually become a big news just after our video. So that shows us now, if someone is putting money from that city, a Muslim, then you can go. Then you know कि लोगों का उन्हें लगन लग पे कि यार साढ़े अपनी heritage है. Otherwise, don't just keep putting money there. लोगों दी दसा ना होने की किरत है. It's not a good idea unless you have built those relations with the local people. Thank you so much, Vikram.
So Manpreet has put a very interesting point that I think I would like a formal study sessions. Dr. Pannu, as we talked about it, I think Sumanpreet must have discussed something separately with you, or
this is Sheena. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Sashikal. I am Sheena. I think my Zoom ID shows my real name, like Sumanpreet.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking.
Everyone knows me very well. So yes,
yeah, now I know.
I think he needs to go step by step. It's a lot of information in one session, and I always feel that we're just open our eyes more to helping the sites too, because there's many vlog series I've seen of him, but they're like in different sections. It would be nice if it goes step by step, like area to area, with him. So, and you're a good host. That's great. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Sheena. Really appreciate that. I didn't know till now that you were here. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheena.
Okay, so amazing. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Until next session. Let's say goodbye for now.
Thank you, Ji.
We had a lovely time. Thank you, Ji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.